All I want is your honesty. All I need is your honesty. Give me truth to make me wait. Don't make me wait. Don't let this moment slip away.
So a couple people have been asking me to break this sample down, and I think this one has a funny story behind it. So it started off with my boy showing me this Drake snippet, right?
For me, yeah, yeah, you got your love locked up for me. ICEMAN, baby, why you so
As soon as I heard it, I was inspired. But at the same time, I was low-key like questioning my music career. I'm like, damn, like if this is the stuff that they're making for Drake, like I'm not making no album. So obviously I listened to it like at least 50 times that same night. And then the next morning, I had a Discord session with my guy Soma. So then I showed him the snippet and he was geeked on it as much as I was. So we were like, yo, we're gonna make something similar. So we ended up coming up with something, and it just wasn't that same vibe that we were chasing. So while he was working on that sample, he thought I was watching his stream. So then I ended up muting his stream and I was just trying to find a chord progression on my own. And then I ended up coming up with 4 good chords. And I was like, yo, Soma, stop whatever you're doing. And that's how the sample came to life. All right, so the first chord is a D minor chord. And then the second chord, which is an E chord, which I think is the most interesting chord in this progression. The only thing that we did was we added a F sharp as the grace note. And then it goes into an A minor. And then it goes into an F major. Into an F diminished chord. And then it goes back again to an A minor chord. And then it has 4 chords that walk up. With some embellishments, this is how it sounds. All right, so one thing that I think you should take away from this chord progression is how it walks up and it leads into this chord. And the reason why this is so important is so when the loop replays, it doesn't sound as boring. And it's just like a continuous loop, if that makes sense. As you can see in my MIDI, I'm using a lot of extended chords and I'm voice leading. And if you pay attention to the root note, it's not just one steady note. Instead, it continues to move, which helps the piano have more movement. And I'm using tension and release the correct way, which allows it to have a little bit more of an emotion, in my opinion. And last but not least, I'm using chromatic passing tones, which help add that gospel-like feel to it. All right, so for the piano, I'm using the Wing Upright Mono Dark, and all I did was go to the EQ and put it on medium. I'm using the Sheps in order to take out the low end, and then I'm using this tape recorder from UAD, the Colorful Keys preset. All right, so for the next part of the sample, Soma found these vocals and we just put it on there and it sounded magical. As soon as we heard that, we already knew this one was going to be fire. The next sound was from my Prophet 10 and it's just a pad. This is how that sounds. So then I copied the chord progression. I opened up this preset from Omnisphere. I ended up putting Fruity Flingus on there, and I took out a lot of the high end and low end. And this is how that sounds. I also copied the chord progression into my Prophet 10 for a pad, and this is how they sound together. All right, so for the next sound, I ended up pitching up the piano and then rendering it as an audio. And this is how that sounds. The only difference is I just lowered the pitch down 12. And that gives it that underwater type of piano sound. And then I'm also using this bass preset from my Analog Lab Bank. I'm also layering it with this bass from Trillion. I have an EQ on both in order to take out the high end. This is how everything sounds so far with the vocals. Alright, so for the next section, we ended up taking out the underwater piano. Instead, we replaced it with some strings, and this is chamber strings from Contact, and this is how that sounds. Alright, so what I have on the string is a reverb, and then I'm also using Shaper Box in order to pan it. And one of the most important things is putting it in mono, which helps give it that vibe. So all together, this is how they sound. For the last section, I ended up taking out one of the pads and the bass. And instead, I'm using this from Xenology. This is a piano. It's super fire. This is how that sounds. I'm also using the first preset on Lounge Lizard. And then I figured if I was going for that church vibe, I might as well put an organ. And then last but not least, I ended up copying the MIDI and I ended up pulling up this choir from Opus. And this is how everything sounds together. The reason why I added this choir was simply to help with the choir that I already had, and I felt like it gave it that extra push. So I'm going to play some of it without it, and I'm going to play some of it with it. I think it just added that little space that needed to be filled. Alright, so the next thing I did was go back to the intro, and I added this live bass because I felt like it would feel empty without a bass there, and I didn't want to have a synth bass for the intro. So I ended up pulling up this Trillion bass. And as you can see, I'm also using another preset, which is the slide down, and I think it helped make it feel a little bit more realistic. The next thing that I added was another slide down into the sample. And this is just a one shot. So leading into it. Alright, so the last sound was this ambient church sound, and this is what that sounds like. I literally just found it on Splice. And I think it's extremely important to have those sounds and textures into it because I think it makes it feel a little bit more vivid. Once we were done with this sample, I ended up sending it to my boy David and Timaz. They ended up making this crazy beat on it. So instead of showing you just a sample, I'm going to show you the beat. I highly recommend you to stick around because I think this is some real Drake ass shit. So let me know what you think, comment down below, and I'll see you Wednesday.